you able to see now? Okay. Okay. So it's 5:15. So hopefully we should go on till 6 o'clock. And meanwhile, when Madam Neelima and Dr. Kota also join, I would like them to, because I'll be talking more like an academician, and Dr. Neelima will give the industry perspective as a practicing manager, and Kota will give you what are these perspectives from small and medium enterprises and what are the problems they face when they get write this business plan. So these are my handles, and I'm sure all this will be shared to you. So business plan, a route map to success, is what we are going to have as a discussion for the next 45 minutes. So this I think is very, very important. I'm sure a lot of you must be knowing or must have heard this word called entrepreneur. So even when I was teaching, I've taught entrepreneurship for many years, in fact for the last 15 years. So I try to spend a lot of time on this word called entrepreneur, because for me it is very important for all the students, all the practitioners, all the faculty members to understand this concept called as entrepreneur. And entrepreneurship is a process, and enterprise is the organization that they start. So entrepreneur, whenever we are talking about an entrepreneur, is a person. Okay, the entrepreneurship is a process, and enterprise is the organization that it starts. So an entrepreneur is an individual who creates a new business. Please understand the focus points are what I want you to understand. I've written it in bold. A new business. So whatever you're going to start, so you can be a lot of people who copy also call themselves entrepreneurs, but I would say they are copycats. For me, an entrepreneur is a guy who creates a new business, bearing most of the risk and enjoying most of the rewards. So both these words are very, very important. Risk and return. Okay, so like if some of you must be doing management science, they would understand risk and return as inversely proportional. Less is the risk, as directly proportional. Less is the risk, less is the reward, and more is the risk, more is the reward. So entrepreneurs are people who are ready to play high risk game. So an entrepreneur generally is seen as an innovator. So you have innovators like maybe Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. So these are all innovators. They're a source of new ideas, goods, services, business, procedures. For example, if you take something like Amazon, okay, it's a procedure, okay, it's a service. You can take somebody like Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook. So please understand this word risk is very, very important, because we'll have to understand that an entrepreneur faces tremendous amounts of risk. So one risk is financial risk, that whatever capital or whatever money that you have invested in the business might not return. So there might be a loss. There might be emotional risk. So most of us think that we are all very good, we'll be successful in whatever we take. So when the business goes for a toss, or when the business is not successful in spite of your best efforts, you will be facing a lot of emotional risk. And the most important for me is something called as a social risk. Social risk is what are our friends, relatives, and these are the people who might comment and say that acha kasa job tha, they have done their BTech, they have done their MBA. Why is that they have to do this? Why can't they simply take a safe job like an IT job or a sales job or something? So they'll be facing social risks, and that is something that especially we South Indians, we find it very, very safe to take up jobs. We want to get into safe jobs, and we want to let us take another option of going abroad or get into government service. So that these are the type of risks that people will be facing. And finally, the risk of ridicule from our own family. So our parents might not support, our spouses might not support, and let us take, I want to start a business at 55 or 60. My own son or daughter might say, Daddy, why do you want to risk at 55 or 60? Why don't you take it easy, and why don't you enjoy your retirement life? And let me tell you something which the young people there might get very surprised. Most people think that entrepreneurship is for young people, and I'm sure all the people who are sitting there must have heard about a company called as Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC. And KFC was started by Colonel Sanders when he was 65 years old. So there is no age bar. You could be as young as 10 years. The median age, the average age would be around 22 to 25. And one of the statistics shows that the more aged you become, the more older you become, the chances of starting a business will keep on decreasing. So if you want to start a business, I think the moment is right. India is bright. We have the youngest demographic in the world. So which means we have got the youngest population between 15 to 35. If you take the world population, we have the youngest population. The government is very supportive, and this is the right time for entrepreneurship. So let's again try to define who is a entrepreneur. So comes from a Latin word called entreprende, means to undertake. So whatever things that we are not able to do ourselves, an entrepreneur is able to deliver it to us. So I deliberately picked up examples right from very common things, because I did not want to bring you a lot of high-tech examples. So this is a normal, humble chaiwala who is maybe available in every nook and corner. He is able to undertake one function that we are not able to undertake ourselves. So we are able to get tea or coffee at home, but when we are going to the office, we would like to have a hot cup of tea whenever we finish the class, and that is that facility or that benefit is being given by a chai fellow and a chaiwala, and we can very rightly call him an entrepreneur who is undertaking that process of making the tea and giving it to us. And because he is giving a benefit right at our doorstep or at our faculty door or at my faculty cabin, he is taking a little extra. Okay, it is only for the service that is providing. So India is full of entrepreneurs. So usually we think that whenever we say entrepreneurs, most of the teachers themselves think that we should talk about countries maybe like China or maybe like America. India is full of entrepreneurs. Let me tell you, if it is not for entrepreneurship, there will be social unrest in this country. If you take the statistics of, let us take government employees, the government employees would hardly be 1% of the total population. The private sector employees would be maybe another 9%. So only 1 in 10 or only 1% in 10 people can get an employment either from a government job or a private sector job. So India is full of small micro level entrepreneurs, and it is because of that micro level entrepreneurs we are able to get a lot of facilities, which when you go to a foreign country, you'll understand that how good the Indian society is, that they're able to give us so many facilities, so many services at a beck of a call and at very reasonable cost. So in fact, once Winston Churchill got vexed and said India is a country of petty traders, but at the end of the day, these are the petty traders who are moving our GDP, and these are the traders who are giving GST. And especially I want to say, in the times of pandemic, it was the small petty traders, the vegetable shop fellows, the people who gave us vegetables, the kirana shop fellows. Those are the people who have sustained us in the last 7 months. And I would say hats off to this so-called petty traders, because at the end of the day, it was our kirana shop fellow who's in my colony in Matrishi Nagar who helped me out, and it was that small medical shop. Those small traders actually helped us, because they're very near a house. They could give a home delivery. They will even come at let's say 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the night. So India is really a land of entrepreneurs. Okay. And I remember once, I think in 1998 or 1999, CBIT chairman Malkonda Reddy sir was asked to inaugurate one function or a seminar on entrepreneurship. And what Malkonda sir said are still ringing in my words. He said, salaried job means certain poverty. So what sir was trying to say is, if you join for a job, let us take your joining at, let us take 40,000 rupees. Once you join an organization, unless you leave that organization and join another organization, your next year salary could be 45,000. And the next year's salary could be 47,000. So your salary is increasing maybe by 5%, but your expenditure, your your needs, your luxuries. You'll start getting children, they'll start getting older, you have to put them in schools. So end of the day, what happens is, even after 33 years of working, I cannot consider myself rich. I can consider myself as middle class or above middle class, and we are more or less dependent on our salaries, because once the salary stops coming, some people are on the roads in 3 months, some people are on the roads for 6 months, or some people come to the road within 1 year. So salaried jobs might appear to be very secure, might appear to give you a lot of a stability and a salary in the first of the month. But Malkonde sir was very jokingly saying that salaried jobs, if somebody is trying to take up, it is a certain poverty. Then he talked about entrepreneurship being uncertain glory. So please underline the word called uncertain glory. You can become super successful like Mark Zuckerberg, or you can become somebody as great as Bill Gates, or let's say Dhirubhai Ambani or Mukesh Ambani. But when you're talking of Mukesh Ambani, we also have to discuss about Anil Ambani, who is literally on the roads. Or if you take Vijay Malaya, or if you take let us take Ramalinga Raju. So entrepreneurship is on the both sides. You can swing from one side to another. So you might get tremendously rich, or you might end up in failure. But that's the beauty of entrepreneurship, that there is a chance that suddenly our fortunes might turn, and you might become super rich. So why I put this particular slide was, this is New York Marathon. Around 45 to 50,000 people start the race thinking that they are going to win, but only one person will win. So I'm not saying only one person out of 50,000 entrepreneurs will be successful, but the success rate is not very high. But then the people who become successful become super rich. And let me tell you, we will come to this point of money also a little later. Okay, I think all the students there, including my own Shiva Shivani students, I think we should read Rashmi Bansal's books, because she has written 6 very beautiful books called Stay Hungry, Stay Foolish, Connect the Dots. She also writes about Dharavi. I'm sure a lot of you must be knowing. Dharavi is the biggest slum in entire Asia. So it is only 1.2 square kilometers, but it has got a turnover of something like 3 billion US dollars. And she has written about entrepreneurs who come out of those slums of Dharavi. And it is a very beautiful book. I think all the people who are interested in entrepreneurship should definitely read this book called Poor Little Rich Slums. So from the look of it, it looks that Dharavi is very poor, but there are a lot of people who are quite rich, and who are entrepreneurs, and who are having a business worth 10 crores, 15 crores in a room as small as 10 by 10. So it is not the size of the room that matters, it is the size of the heart of the person who is running the business matters. And she has written books like I Have a Dream. Okay, in fact, she has written one of her chapters. She writes about Arvind Kejriwal, and how Arvind Kejriwal moved from I don't know how many of you know, Arvind Kejriwal is a Indian Revenue Service officer who suddenly got this bug saying that I don't want to be earning money for myself, I want to enter into public life. So she writes about Arvind Kejriwal, and she writes about this Padman. Padman later became a movie. I think you guys please try to read this books, get inspired, because Rashmi Bansal is a great author if you want to study about entrepreneurship. And she has also written Follow Every Rainbow, Take Me Home, and these are books that are not very costly. And I also recommend that all faculty members who are sitting there, please do buy these books and keep it in a library, and try to have a competition. And maybe you can invite people like me, we can come there, the students can do a review of the book, and we can have a book review session, and there can be a lot of fun and a lot of learning also. So I think you should definitely be reading Rashmi Bansal's books. And I thought, because these are young students who might not be reading a lot of stuff, so I thought I'll pick up some movies that all you people should definitely see. I think you should all watch Padman, and if it is possible, try to watch it today itself, because this is a very strange story. Padman, I was actually very shocked when Akshay Kumar took it up, because it is not a commercial sort of a movie. But here is a madman. I would only call him madman because he takes up a topic that is taboo. Okay, women menstrual cycles and the pain that they face is something that the women don't talk to each other. And here is a man who takes up this what to say service, because he finds that a lot of Indian women die because they are not able to have very hygienic sanitary pads, and a lot of women actually die. So he takes it up, he makes it his life mission, and at some point of time his own wife becomes very suspicious. So the wife of this Akshay Khanna becomes sorry, Akshay Kumar becomes suspicious, and she leaves him and goes away. So he is alone. So he is even more convinced. But he says, what I am trying to do is for a social cause. And I think anybody who's interested in entrepreneurship, whether to what is as a subject or as a passion, or you want to take up your career, you should definitely watch this movie called Padman. And then this is a very beautiful movie called Manthan. Manthan is made by Shyam Benegal. This talks about the Amul Cooperative Society in Anand. So Amul, as you know, is the biggest cooperative movement in the world. And this movie is about it is about how the small marginal farmers of Gujarat have come together. People have one cow or two buffaloes, one cow, and who made Amul the biggest milk cooperative in the world. It's a very beautiful movie, very nicely made, and it runs more like a documentary drama. And you can understand how this, in fact, the biggest puzzling thing about Amul milk cooperative is there are 12 lakh, 1.2 million small farmers who came together and who became the cooperative, and they're running the biggest milk cooperative in the world. And this is what is surprising the people all over, that how is that 1.2 million, 12 lakh people are able to work with so much of coherence and so much of unity of direction. And please remember, 85 to 90% of them are illiterate, but they're still able to manage a show like that. And the number of top executives in Amul would only be maybe around 50, 60. And all the other responsibilities are handled by this milk people. They're called milkmen and milkwomen. It's a very inspiring movie. I think you should definitely watch this movie called Manthan. And in fact, I made it the entire screen because I honestly feel that if any of these 65, 70 people have not seen this movie, I think please try to get it as fast as possible, because Lagan is about entrepreneurship in a different way. It talks about a dream of a person called Amir Khan, Bhuvan, who takes the entire British army. He doesn't know the game. He doesn't have 11 players. He doesn't understand the rules, but only thing is his conviction that I am right and whatever the Britishers are doing is wrong. And he fights the entire British army. And it's a very inspiring movie of a leadership coming out of a crisis. And that is what an entrepreneur should be, because every entrepreneur tries to solve problems, and Amir Khan solves his problems in a very beautiful way. And I think you should all catch up this movie. And this is a movie about Ray Kroc. Ray Kroc, as you all know, in fact, we have been discussing this with my strategic management students also. Some of them were present in my class. So Ray Kroc is actually not the founder of the McDonald's chain. He actually takes it over from the McDonald brothers, and he makes it one of the biggest a fast food joint in the world, and the turnover might be crossing around maybe $10 billion or $15 billion. And this shows how one man can transform everything. So he has taken a small burger and made it into a world's iconic product, and it's a very beautiful movie that you should all try to watch. Michael Keaton, the founder, and it is based on a true story. This guy's name is Ray Kroc, who made McDonald's the super brand that it is. And this is Ashton Kutcher's Jobs. This is about Steve Jobs. And Steve Jobs, as I don't know how many of you know, had a very different sort of a personality. In fact, Steve Jobs was a brilliant software engineer. Suddenly, he gave up everything. He came to India. He was in the Varanasi, and he was in the Himalayas, and he got a lot of inspiration from our saints. He went and started Apple, and I don't know how many of you know, he got kicked out of Apple. He was removed from the company that he started, and he was doing a lot of other things for a lot of time before he came back and took over Apple and made it the iconic what is a mobile phone, that if you have an Apple iPhone in your hand, everybody thinks you have arrived. So that is a type of iconic brand identity that Steve Jobs has created for his what do you say brand. Hate him or love him, Steve Jobs is a iconic figure, and it was his conviction that made Apple the most recognizable brand in the world. So you should definitely try to watch Jobs. And this is a social network. This is about Mark Zuckerberg and how he started Facebook. And I'm sure all of you know what type of social media revolution that Facebook has created. And I think we have reached a we have reached a time in our lives that we might even not have water, we might not even have food, we might not even have coffee and tea, but all of us want to be connected on Facebook, whether it is social media, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, WhatsApp, Instagram. This is the guy who started that revolution, and it's again a very inspiring movie. And this is actually a very funny movie. I thought I will recommend it. I'm sure, except Madhusudan Kota, who must have joined, I don't know, because I'm only looking at my screen, which is present in front of me. This is actually a very funny movie by Dane Keaton. She's a very successful middle-level manager, and suddenly she gets this baby, a very cute-looking baby, as a gift from her grandmother. I don't know where she gets it from, and she has to suddenly leave the job. She goes into a rural area, and she becomes very depressed because she's a career woman, and she starts making jam that we use in our bread. And later she becomes a very, very successful businesswoman. And even though it is a comedy, there are a lot of lessons for us that lots of us, including me, we get depressed when we are attacked by failures or sudden upsets or something suddenly happens. But this movie shows that we should be positive, and if there is that business sense in all of us, you will automatically start to excel. It's a very beautiful movie called Baby Boom. That is why I was asking sir whether all this is getting recorded, because once it is recorded, I'm sure it will be uploaded and onto the YouTube. I can definitely watch this movie. And let me quickly try to be as fast as possible. Problems or opportunities behind curtains. If you want to be an entrepreneur, look at people who are facing problems, and out of those problems there could be an opportunity, and out of that opportunity you can get a business idea. For example, we can call this a mobile pani puri fellow, and he has seen that opportunity, that people maybe in offices, people who are in residential flats, or people who are in colonies want to have pani puri, but they're not able to go to different places, let us say maybe Miapur or KPHP or Lagdi Kapul or wherever. So he's a mobile pani puri fellow. So instead of Ali going to the mountain will come to Ali. So usually what will happen is Ali, the customer, has to go to the mountain. But here what is happening is the mountain itself is coming to Ali. So this see the smart fellow. So maybe he will charge you, for example, in that place, let us take in Miapur, for 10 rupees you might be getting 7 pani puris. So this fellow might give you 5 or 6. So he's charging you 1 pani puri or 2 pani puri extra for the service that he provides right at your doorsteps. Wonderful entrepreneur. Gentlemen. And then say this, this is something that very few of you might know. India is a cricket crazy country, and this is the time in 80s and 90s. I think once I went to Mumbai and I wanted to know the cricket score, and I was coming out of VT terminus, and there was a small boy who was listening to the score, and I said, Choto, kitna score hai? He said, 25 पैसे दो. He wanted 25 NP. I said, why? 25 पैसे दिए तो मैं तेरे को स्कोर बताऊंगा. That's a very wonderful entrepreneurship idea, that he's actually demanding 25 paisa and he's getting 25 paisa because I wanted to know whether Sunil Gavaskar is batting or India is winning. So wonderful. So there is a problem that I want to know the score, and he's encashing that opportunity and he's trying to make money out of it. Wonderful score tellers. And then you must be knowing curry centers. In fact, I think in 97, 98, when I was teaching at CBIT, I predicted that curry centers will become very, very popular, because with the coming of the double income, the women of the house cannot prepare all the dishes. They go and work. So in the evening when they're coming back, they get the curries and only put rice in the rice cooker, and curry centers have become very popular. So again, another set of entrepreneurs who started out and made curry centers very popular. So I think solar cell cutting is a sort of a mechanical device. What used to happen was, I'll tell it very quickly because I don't have enough time. So what used to happen is, we used to keep the solar cell on the bottom, and we used to pass a wire on the top, and the wire used to pass on the solar cell. And after, let us take a solar cell, as you know, is nothing but glass, and on the glass surface we we put silicon. What used to happen is, because the wire used to rub against the solar cell will break into two, and there will be lot of chip offs. Or your electrical mechanical people will tell you, when there is a chip off, there is a loss of current, and the efficiency of the solar cell drops. So we had invited National Institute of Design people, and one very smart guy who was only around 21, 22 told us, sir, why don't you keep, right now what you're doing is, you're keeping the solar cell stationary and you're pushing the wire. Why don't you keep the wire stationary and push the solar cells up and down? That's a very brilliant idea. So this is what an entrepreneur is supposed to know, that whenever a customer is facing a problem, for example, all of us have faced a problem of connecting with each other. We want to show off that, let us take, I'm doing a seminar, I'm doing a webinar. Earlier time, what used to happen is, I have to laboriously write 10 letters, or I have to phone lot of people. Nowadays, sir has sent me one web link, I've sent it throughout the world, and everybody is able to follow. There are people joining in from Libya, there are people who are joining from USA, there are people joining from Muscat. So this problem of connectivity is solved by Facebook. Our problem of not going to the store and standing in a queue and getting articles is solved by Amazon. So inevitably, there are problems that you are facing, and entrepreneur should be able to catch them on. So let us quickly, so that was the process that I was telling you. So most plumbers also, whenever we call them, they are able to give you solutions which are very smart, very easy, very economical. So plumbers, electricians, these are all very smart guys. And let me tell you, some of these plumbers and electricians are earning as much as, let us take middle level managers or top level managers, because they are the solution providers. So suppose you are having a leaking tap in the house, and I'm sure you'll be willing to pay 500 rupees or even 1000 rupees, because if your tap starts leaking, you'll run out of water, and without water we will not be able to survive. So there are opportunities there which are everywhere. Okay, so entrepreneurship is about madness and conviction. So you definitely need to be what is a little mad, in the sense that you're trying to do things that other people cannot do or will not do. And it is about that conviction that I might fail today, but I'll try again. I might fail tomorrow also, but I'll try again. So see this boy, he knows that it is quite difficult, but he's still trying to jump between these two ridges. And you should be ready to do anything. So I am taking an example from a movie, a Telugu movie. In fact, what happens is, most of the entrepreneurs, they try to pledge their own funds first. So my own savings. So let us take, I pledge my own money, and I start an enterprise, I start a business. My business becomes a failure. Then what happens is, I might do this. Okay, it's all right. It is my money. I take risk. If you win, you'll be happy. If you lose, you'll be wise. So you lose by and the company loses. The company is at a loss, and you'll be wiser. Let us take, I'm a little more tougher entrepreneur. I take loan from the family. Okay. So already you failed once. Everybody knows that your first attempt at business has failed, but in spite of it, because they love you, or because they are caring for you, your brothers, sisters, uncles, maybe your family will take a loan. Let us take only for hypothetically that again you failed. So which is the next option? Please listen to this very carefully, my young friends. I ask my wife for a Stridhan. In India, what is Stridhan is, whatever money that the lady is getting from her mother's home is called Stridhan. And it is generally, it is the last thing that husbands ask from their wives. And I'm even ready to go and ask for that Stridhan. And let us take that my wife is mad enough to give me. Let us take, I put that money also into business and I lose it. See, there are three things. I have lost my life savings. Still, I had the guts to go and ask my family, my brothers, sisters, parents. I took their money, lost it. Then I go and ask my money for my wife for her Stridhan, which is the gold which she must have got from her parents as when she got married. Lost that, and now see very carefully. I should have the guts. Please listen to this very carefully, my young friends. I should have the guts to ask my wife for her Mangal Sutra. So, which is the last piece of gold. See, I have failed 3 times. My enterprise has failed 3 times, but I still have a conviction that I am trying to learn from my previous mistakes, and I'm trying to go and ask. The entrepreneur should have the guts to go and see just how much of strain or how much of insult the wife would give her husband if you go and ask for the golden Mangal Sutra, and if that lady gives the gold. That is how what is it, that is the height of entrepreneurship. The lady of the house understanding that the husband lost his own money, understanding that he lost the money of the family, understanding that he has lost the money of her Stridhan, is coming and asking for Mangal Sutra, and she willingly gives it. I think that is the hallmark of an entrepreneur. A lot of my students say, "Sir, aap itna baat karte ho." At least they must be mentally be saying that this man talks so much, he's trying to inspire all of us. Why is that he cannot become an entrepreneur itself? It is very, very difficult for everybody to become an entrepreneur because it is about the risk that they're able to take. I might be at category 1 risk guy, which means I will invest my own money, and when I lose that money, maybe I'll quickly go back into a job. Somebody could be second level risk takers, which means their own money and their family money. Third level of risk takers could be their own money, family money, and their wife's Stridhan. But see the fourth level of a risk taker. He is now willing to pledge everything and give that business another try. Okay, so you need to have this fire in the belly. So this is what we always discuss. So unless there is fire in the belly, unless it is pushing you, unless it makes you work for 18 hours a day, 19 hours a day, 20 hours a day, there are no holidays, there is no vacation. You are the first employee, you're the last employee. When you start an organization, you might not even have money to employ a person to clean the floor. You have to clean the floor, do everything. We need that fire, a get down on it activism. So it has to take us out of our comfort zone, and it has to be something, it has to keep on burning. And let me put you on my next slide. Money is secondary. If you are a real entrepreneur, money is not so very important for us. Rather than making money, I believe in making people happy. This is I've taken from A.R. Rahman, a very successful man who has even won the Oscar award. Of course, he's a great man. So rather than making money, I believe in making people happy. All other things are secondary. Money isn't important. Creative satisfaction is. So we want to prove a point. An entrepreneur wants to prove a point. Akshay Kumar in Padman wanted to prove that sanitary pads are not things that are luxury. These are something that is a right for every woman, and it is a responsibility of an entrepreneur to give it a very safe, a sterile, and a very healthy napkin, and it should be made possible that all the women of India should get that sanitary napkin. Because if you don't have a neat sanitary napkin, there are a lot of women who are dying. So that is the motive for Padman and Akshay Kumar, and it is not money at all. So a lot of you might be thinking it is money. Money is secondary, and money will automatically come. And you'll be shocked to know, till very recently, Mark Zuckerberg, we were discussing this with one of my PhD student, used to stay in a 900 SFT flat in Palo Alto. Palo Alto is a place which is known for entrepreneurs. A 900 SFT flat was what he used to be living in, and he said the money is okay. Money will come, money will go. So money is there, but that creative satisfaction that whatever product that you have started is being used by billions of people. Just imagine how much of creative satisfaction a person like Mark Zuckerberg will be having, because whatever he has started, nowadays crores and millions. Yeah. Last thing is almost 7.6 billion people are living on this planet, and I'm told that almost 1/4 of them use Facebook. So how much more satisfaction can you get that 1 in 4 world population have used your product? So that's the basic motive of these entrepreneurs. And be ready to fail many times. Few are lucky. So failure is a natural part of life, especially for entrepreneurs, because they fail many times. They learn from the failures. So be ready to learn from mistakes. Fail. First attempt in learning. So very quickly, we will try to spend another 10 minutes because I'm ready to share this PPT with you. So Alice in Wonderland is a very beautiful book. And what happens is Alice, she gets into a fairyland, and she's lost. So there is a Cheshire cat, and the Cheshire cat is on a tree, and this is Alice who is lost. And I will read this very carefully. One day, Alice came to a fork in the road and saw a Cheshire cat in a tree. Which road do I take? She asked. So she asked the cat, which road? So there is a fork on the road, which means a sort of a cross, north, south, east, west. So she got confused. She says to the cat, which road do I take? She asked. Where do you want to go? Was the response of the cat. So the cat is even smarter. Maybe the cat was also a faculty member in the previous life. So the cat says to Alice, where do you want to go? And Alice says, I don't know. Alice, so I don't know is the response from Alice. Then the cat says, it doesn't matter then. If you don't know you don't know where you want to go, take any road. So why I'm saying this is because business plan is the most important document that can be prepared by the entrepreneur. So if you don't know where you want to take any road. Do you want to go north to Delhi, or do you want to go to east to Assam, or you want to go west to Mumbai, or you want to take south to Kanyakumari? You should know. If you don't know where to go, if you don't know where you want to go, take any road. So that is the need for a business plan. It gives direction, it gives scope and purpose for an entrepreneur. So without a business plan, in fact, it is like starting a journey without knowing the destination. So before starting the journey, you should know where you want to go. So often it is called as dreams of glory, but it is the most important document for an entrepreneur at a startup stage. So whenever an entrepreneur is starting a business, we call it as a startup stage. And this is the most important document. And please, students, if you want to start a business, spend at least 6 months to 1 year on preparing a pakka business plan, because potential investors definitely will ask for a business plan. And it also helps the entrepreneur maintain a perspective for himself of what needs to be accomplished. Business plan can be defined as doing something. Please listen to this very carefully. Business plan can be defined as doing something today to achieve something tomorrow based on what has been achieved yesterday. So it is business plan connects your yesterday, today and tomorrow. So you please spend a lot of time on this business plan. And business plan is also a route map to success. That is what was a thing that Padmaja madam and me have discussed, that without a business plan, there is no route map to becoming successful. So it is a written document describing all relevant internal and external environments, internal elements and strategies for starting a new business. So when you want to start a new business, so please remember, it's a written down document. It cannot be in your mind and say, Maine aisa soncha, it is like this, it is like this. No, it has to be a written document, and it has to describe all relevant internal and external elements and strategies for starting a new business. It is often an integration of all the functions like marketing, finance, human resource and production. So all the elements that go into making an organization successful have to become a part of your business plan. The business plan or game plan or roadmap answers the questions like, where am I now? Where am I going? How will I get there? So it is all those three things. Where am I now? Where am I going? And where will I get there? So if you have any doubts, please remember what the Cheshire cat told Alice in Wonderland. Where do you want to go? Alice says, I don't know. And then the Cheshire cat says, if you don't know where you want to go, take any road. So who will ask for a business plan? potential investors, suppliers, and sometimes even customers. Suppose you want to sell to somebody like More or to Reliance or to JioMart or Reliance Smart. You're a small time, let us take producer of pulses and rice. Definitely JioMart will say, before I can risk my business with you, you give me your business plan. If your business plan is very good, I'll give you orders worth 10 crores or 20 crores or whatever. Who should write a business plan? Preferably, it should be written by the entrepreneur himself or herself, because there's nothing more better than getting your what is a feet into water, and you should be able to write it yourself. Sometimes, if you want to take help, you can take help from lawyers, accountants, marketing consultants, engineers, and teachers. These are other sources who can help in preparation of a business plan. Sometimes there are some trade organizations. So trade organizations can also help. The internet, especially now that we are in the internet world, the internet also provides a wealth of information, as well as ready-made templates are there that will help you in making a business plan. Who are the readers of a business plan? Employees. When suppose you want to get a new MD for your organization, because he's coming from an existing business to your business, your employees might ask, your investors might ask, your bankers might ask. Nowadays, there's a concept called as venture capitalists. Your venture capitalists might ask, suppliers will ask, customers will ask, advisors will ask, consultants will ask, which means everybody who is connected with you will ask for a business plan. So what are the three perspectives of a business plan? First of all, it is for the entrepreneur himself to understand better than anybody else about how much of things are needed, what about the technology, what about the equipment. Second, the marketing perspective. Usually what happens is all of us think too much of ourselves. All of us think that our products are great. We all think that everybody will buy it. But once you write a business plan, we will have to answer these very tricky questions. Will the customer buy? Why will he buy? At what cost will he buy? What happens when the product has got a service issue? Who will do the repairs? What is the guarantee? What is the warranty? All these issues will be addressed in the marketing part of the business plan. Third, the entrepreneur should try his view or her business plan through the eyes of an investor. At the end of the day, the investor is looking at surety, whether whatever money he has invested will come back. So the investor will ask a lot of questions as, what is the guarantee? Have you taken care of the risk or not? And very definitely, especially the investors, bankers, venture capitalists will ask for a lot of financial projections. They'll ask for cash flow, working capital, projective balance sheets. All these are very much needed. So, and more important than anything else, it is a sort of a self-assessment. So when you do a business plan for yourself, we know a lot of what we are thinking, whether it's correct or not. So in the starting, we feel that any new venture is assured of success, because we thought that Mark Zuckerberg is so famous at 22, and Bill Gates was so successful at 23, and they are not even graduates. So we are already BTechs, we are MBAs. Whatever we do will become successful. But when you write a business plan, it brings an objectivity, and you have to ask yourself such tricky questions as, does the idea make any sense? Will it work? Who is my customer? How will I reach my customer? Will he buy? Will it satisfy the customer needs? What kind of protection can I get against imitation by the competitors? Because as you know, success is easily copied, and just because your product is successful, you cannot lay back and enjoy yourself, because competition will come in. So what kind of protection can I get against imitation by the competitors? How can I manage my own business, or do I need external people? And if I'm getting external people, what about the share? How much salary should I get? What is the risk? Who will I compete with? So a lot of questions will be asked. So if you're able to answer all these questions properly and positively, and if the entrepreneur is confident of success, please continue. But if most of the questions you get negative response, and if there is no confidence, terminate the business idea before investing further money and time. So what I want to tell you very clearly is, you might let us spend 1 lakh or 2 lakhs in making a business plan, and somewhere your gut feeling and most of the investors or most of the, let's say, venture capitalists have told you that this is not going to work. Maybe it is better to postpone, even stop it, and say that my my losses have only limited to 1 or 2 lakhs, because instead of let us take starting the business and ruining everything. So this is also gives you a chance at self-assessment. And you need to present a business plan very professionally. What is the picture should be used, facts and figures should be there. You should also explain technical terms, and please remember the KISS principle. KISS means keep it short and simple. And then what are the contents? So the contents of any business plan are like this. You need to have an introductory page, where it is a sort of a cover page, and in the introductory page your name should be written, your title of the project is written, and also amount of grant or investment that you want is clearly written, based on which the bank or the investor or the venture capitalist will take his charge. There's something called as an executive summary, which is a sort of a short profile of 3 or 5 pages, and some very senior people will not read the entire report, they might only read the executive summary. And then we need to do an environmental analysis, SWOT analysis. We might have to do a 5 forces theory analysis. You need to assess your external environment, you need to assess your internal environment, and a very detailed description of your venture. So this is the real crux. This is where it shows your confidence, whether you know your venture well or not. All the nitty-gritty should be told. Suppose you are running a factory, you need to tell us a production plan. What about the factory? What are the machinery? Who will run the machinery? How much of tonnage you are able to get in a day or in a shift? And if it is service, you have to get into an operational plan. You need to have a marketing plan. Like that is my pet subject. You need to understand the 4 P's. What is the product? What is the price? How are you going to promote it? How are you going to distribute it? An organizational plan is very important. Are you going to be a sole proprietorship? Are you going to be a partnership? Are you going to be a cooperative? Are you going to be a limited stock company? Are you going for a franchisee? Are you going for a joint venture? And again, you'll have to very quickly understand the risk. So this is where the bankers and the investors and the venture capitalists will try to attack you, because they want to know whether you know the risk. Are you able to understand the risk? And how are you going to mitigate the risk? So if you know there is a risk, how are you going to cover the risk? And for example, coming with the COVID, almost all organizations have lost 7 months of business. So that was a risk that nobody thought. But as an entrepreneur, we should know that there will be some highs and there will be some lows. So most of the businesses have hit a rock bottom with Corona COVID-19. And that risk is something that they should have figured it out in their business plan. And then, as we have just now said, we need financial planning. They'll ask for cash flows. What about where will you get the investment, at what rate of return, and working capitals, and what is the cash flows, projective balance sheets. The more the better. And whatever you are supposed to be have given in this, all the above 9 or 10 elements, you are supposed to give it in a sort of a appendix. So this is more or less a very preliminary discussion about a business plan, and it is I would say the tip of an iceberg, and a lot of things are there below the surface which we cannot do within 45 minutes to 1 hour. So these are some of the TV shows that showcase entrepreneurship. There is this TV show called The Apprentice, which was actually hosted by Donald Trump before he became the president. It is called Apprentice, and all these people at the back are competing for a job in his office, and he gives them it is a reality show. And this, I think you should definitely watch. This is called The Apprentice, and this is a Indian television program called The Pitch, where people come and compete for 10 lakh rupees, and the guy who wins this particular reality show gets 10 lakh rupees for his venture. And then this is a very beautiful show called the Shark Tank, where you have to come and present your business idea before a group of 5 venture capitalists, and if the venture capitalists like it, immediately you might get a assurance that those venture capitalists will invest in your business. So here is a boy, I would call him a boy because he looks hardly 23, 24. He is presenting about a concept called a bright wheel. And these are again very good reality shows. This is about how the software companies have come up in Silicon Valley. And then this is called Planet of the Apps. As you know that apps is a very big business. So this reality show is marketing your apps. And if you're able to market the apps very well, you might get a grant of $1 million. And $1 million, as you know, is a lot of money. It's something like a 7.3 crores. Okay, so this is another show. And then that is all, guys, for today. I think I've overshot it by 5 minutes. And before we take on the question and answer session, so I would request Nilima Madam to talk for 5 minutes. Madam, are you there, Nilima Madam?
Yeah, sir, I'm there.
So I'll stop sharing, Madam. So you can just share your experiences and maybe a short brief about the awards and your product. And very quickly, whether this business plan concept really worked for you or it did not.
In fact, I would like to share a brief insight of what we have learned through experience, which you have put it in a nutshell and give it, offering them in a plate before they they ground into like a battlefield itself. Me, myself as a doctor and completely out of non-entrepreneur background, all these terms were quite new to us. Only idea when we started is that we have an idea of business and we thought of starting it. But we just started like that, and later on in the phases of our venture, we all learned the phases of what you have discussed today, in fact. So this entire session is a valuable insight for the students who are listening, so that they can make their plan, everything ready, so that like every way, plan A, plan B, plan C, and enter into a war field. That's a very cool thing, in fact, in this session, what I have seen. My personal suggestion is that everyone is knowing the golden circle theory of Simon Sinek. So there are 3 keywords like what, how, and why. Yes. So every people knows that what they are doing to do, and very few people know how to do, and very few people can answer why. So this is the thing. What I suggest is that any entrepreneur should have. So why am I doing this? Why do I am investing time? See, I feel like rather than money, time is the more valuable thing which is to be invested. Because money can be earned by doing anything, but once lost is lost. So one should be more closely think about why should I invest into this idea. Correct. So he need to ask about a few questions like, am I passionate about this, willing to work hard, or how could I do this? Good, madam. So if he gets answers to all these questions, so then he gets things like, yes, I can do, and he need to better first, he should articulate with the people who can, like he should be able to communicate and convince first his own family members.
Madam, how much deviation from your original business plan have you seen in the last 4 or 5 years?
Not rather much, but this corona has given us the entire experience of 5 to 6 years that we should, it is now for us a time to agility. This is like opportunity, like we know now opportunities are like once in a blue moon, and such a wonderful opportunity that it has entirely changed our way of thinking, how to be agile and move to the markets with dealing with perishable kind of things. I'm Dr. Nilima, where with the proprietor of Coco Tank, where we make tender coconut-based drinks and mocktails and pulp shakes in 121 variants, for which we have awarded with national awards like Telugu Book of Records, and also won JCI Business Excellence Award. And you also pretty much know that our case study got also published in Emerald Journal. So there are like,
I think what 1 minute, madam. I think what Nilima madam was saying is that me and Nilima madam and Kota, we have collaborated, and our case study on Coco Tank got published in one of the best international publishing houses in the world called Emerald. And madam was very, very supportive, and I'm sure all the 84 students are here. If you want to know anything more about entrepreneurship, I'm sure Nilima madam is a very nice person and is willing to welcome you and help you whatever way she can. Yes, madam.
See, anything is like a business is like something called a creation. The gift of creation is done by God, and later only business people can create wealth. So a wealth could be created by like a business only. So first we should focus always on creation of values. Then valuations will automatically fall. So we should be consistent about what value we are giving to our customers or for the investors. Like any person who is like investing into our company or thing, we should offer them a value. He should be benefited. Any customer, from customer perspective also, if any one person coming and buying anything from us or doing anything with us, they should be also benefited. It is always that we promise value creation is the main thing, and once it is always a win-win situation. There is not like win-lose situation in a business. Everyone should win. Then it is a healthy business. What I feel personally.
Thank you, madam. So what I would say, madam, I'll leave your number with the organizers, and I'm sure VJIT would definitely take it forward because I said that this time, madam, I'll give them 5 minutes each, and both you and Kota will be invited because Dr. Padmaja Misala madam said we would definitely like more interactions. So thank you very much. And now for Madhusudan Kota. Kota, your views very quickly about business plan.
Good evening, everyone. Business plan is like a Google map. You know, whenever you want to go somewhere, you use your Google map. So whatever you are going to do in your business, it is very important. And whenever you are lost, maybe you know the way, but when you are lost, again you have to refer to your Google map, which is your business plan. And you have to come back on track. And added to that, what we do when we get in, maybe we don't know the way, we ask an expert and get his inputs. That is the reason why all the entrepreneurs need to have some mentors. So when you get lost, you come back on track. And your business plan is so important. If there is no business plan, BP leads to your BP, blood pressure.
Okay.
If your business plan is not in place, it's going to have a huge problem.
So
because I have done my
BP.
PhD on MSMEs and yes, sir, BP leads to BP. If you don't adhere, or maybe sometimes you should be ready to modify it also.
Correct.
I was just talking to somebody. I told I was talking to a professor. He told business plan is just bullshit. So then I asked what is the reason. He gave this example of Patanjali. Somebody who started with the yoga, finally they got into noodles, toothpaste, you name it, every product they are into that. Let's suppose his original business plan was only yoga. There's no way that he would have got into other fields.
Yeah.
So another thing what Anil sir told is another major problem with most of the businessmen is, we outsource our business plan to somebody. No, we have to, our business is our baby, and we can only become father of our baby. You can't outsource it. That is very important. Nowadays, everybody is going to a consultant for writing a business plan. If you don't have conviction, you can't write that business plan. And if you have conviction, it shows in your business plan. Business plan is not just only a massive boring document.
Absolutely.
So I'll not take much time. I'll say two things. One is fail fast. If you want to be successful, you should have business plan, as well as you should fail fast also. If you don't fail fast, you will not learn. And again, somebody told, what is business? What is an entrepreneur's mindset? It is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. So that is very important. Enthusiasm, you should not lose the passion. Fail fast, don't lose your enthusiasm. And sir was talking about funding. Not only one funding, there is something called OPM, other people money. Nowadays, we have a lot of OPM. I'm not talking OPIM. That is also available in market. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about other people's money. So don't taking other people's money doesn't mean that you become Vijay Mallya or Nirav Modi. You can successfully take money which is available. Even now, government is giving
Loans.
Mudra Yojana. A lot of loans are available. So there is a lot of support. So
Thank you, Kota. Thank you very much.
May I add
Madam,
one small thing?
yes, madam, yes.
Actually, one comedy, in one movie, there is like one saying, no, sir, like, Enduku emti ela.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
we should apply this for everything.
Absolutely. ఎందుకు
And
ఏమిటి ఎలా
yes, ఎందుకు చేస్తున్నాం ఏంటి అక్కడికి చేరుకోవడం ఎలా?
ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ
This is what
ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ
business
మనం
value.
ఏం చేస్తున్నాం ఎందుకు చేస్తున్నాం అక్కడ చేరుకోవడానికి మనం ఎలా చేరుకోవాలి వెరీ నైస్లీ సెడ్ మేడం పద్మజ మేడం there is a question can I take it because it came on the chat box
Yeah, you can take it.
there is
Vijay Shankar madam can just read it.
there is
So
a
there is a
girl
question
Yeah,
from
okay.
Kanchan, sir.
Okay.
Sir, please reflect your views on direct selling or network marketing business.
Yeah, very nice question, Kanchan. There are two issues here. Direct selling is very different from network marketing. So direct selling is allowed by the law, and there is absolutely nothing wrong in selling directly a product to the customer. There are a lot of issues about network marketing. So network marketing is called pyramid marketing, sometimes called Amway. So where there are a chain of people from the producer to the customer, and in my view, network marketing is not actually marketing, and we should all be very careful about these type of things because there are a lot of problems in network marketing. And as far as we are concerned, network marketing is banned in many countries. And there are a lot of issues about network marketing. Never get into network marketing because 9 out of 10 times you will get cheated and you'll lose money. But there is a difference between direct selling and network marketing, Kanchan. Direct marketing is reaching the customer directly without any very intermediaries. That is perfectly all right. But please don't ever get into network marketing business because that is, I would say, unethical. In many cases, illegal also. But right now in India, it is not banned. But maybe in the future, the government might even think of banning such unscrupulous business practices where people are cheated. So that is the question. Kanchan, if you want any supplementary information, my information is shared. You can always get to me on my email or phone number. Anybody else? Any doubt you have, Kanchan, on this, or you're okay?
Sir, actually, I'm already into the one company called Biosage, and like basically they are capturing students. I mean, they say that they provide skills, and of course, they are working out good. Like I've seen many people doing good at this platform. So, like, why is this unethical then, sir? Like, it's
okay, I'll tell you why. See, there are two ways in a network marketing you earn money. One is by selling products, and the second is by recruiting agents. Are you doing one or are you doing two, Kanchan?
Actually, we can do both, sir. We are allowed to do both.
The first thing is unethical. When you are getting money on recruiting of agents, that is unethical because you are trying to recruit 4, those 4 are trying to recruit 4, and those 4 are going to recruit another 4. Somewhere the chain will break, and there could be a lot of problems. So what I suggest is maybe we can do a one-to-one. Maybe on a WhatsApp or on a email where I can explain you more because this might be slightly boring for all the others. You have my number. You please come on to my WhatsApp and we can discuss this in more in detail, Kanchan. Is it all right?
Okay, sir.
Okay, then I have Manoj Kumar. Same here. Can one make consistent money out of affiliate marketing? It depends again how much of effort that you're going to put into this because as we all know, this needs a consistent effort. If you can put in a consistent effort, I'm sure you could make money. There is nothing wrong about affiliate marketing. And Akila Janakula, thank you for the informative session, sir. I would like to know the new challenging factors that are needed to be considered in the process of entrepreneurship in the current pandemic situation. I would say wonderful question, Akila. So I think now is the time to wait out. Wait out ante entante amma, don't take any rash decisions. We don't know when the pandemic is going to end exactly. So if you're already in business like Neelima madam, they are already in water, so they have to keep swimming. So if you are not got into water, wait for some more time, do further research, try to get your product what is very very clear, because with the pandemic the customers are getting very very choosy. So unless your product can give very superior value, people are not going to come. I'll tell you an example, Akila. Once the movies reopen, you will find that people will be very very choosy to go to the cinema halls. If there is a super duper hit from Rajmouli, they will go, but all the others they will not go, because there is a risk of the COVID infection. So I would say, if you are already in business, try to keep afloat. That is what Ratan Tata has said. In this year, if you are able to survive, it is enough. But if you want to set up a business, I would say please wait, because it is still very fluid. We don't know when the vaccine will come, when it will be made available. So do more research, try to get your business plan, and try to be careful. Yes, Kota.
Sir, again I'll go back to my example of Google Maps. COVID is like a traffic jam on our road. Immediately what Google Map does, it will show us an alternative route. So mushkil waqt commando sakt. So as soon as there is a challenge, we need to look for opportunity.
Okay. Thank you, Chaitanya. Very lovely question. Do you see a bright future for app aggregators like UrbanClack? Chaitanya, I have my own experience which I would like to share. At the app level, Chaitanya, they are doing a wonderful level, but the delivery at the customer's place is not very good. I will give you my own example, where I recently had a very bad experience with UrbanClack, where the app works very well. The appointments are made, but nobody comes, or some shady fellow will come. He'll not be wearing a mask. He will not have an ID card. So I think the biggest challenge for app aggregators is delivery on the ground. So the delivery on the ground is missing. I would say, except for Amazon, I think all others fail. So me and Kota were also discussing, Amazon does a fair job, Flipkart does a fair job, but all others stumble. So including the JioMart, including Reliance Digital, they stumble a lot. So that is how it is, Chaitanya. So urban aggregators, app aggregators are doing quite wonderful at a IT level, but delivery on the ground leaving lot to be desired. So Neelima madam says totally agree, sir. I think she must also be facing same type of problems. Madam, మీరేమన్నా అడుగుతారా మేడం పద్మజ?
Sir, good evening. Actually, I could not join in the beginning. I was in some other session.
Madam, one small request. I have a professor who has joined us from Libya.
Yeah, please.
He's my colleague from Ethiopia. In fact, his daughter and Mr. Suresh, they have joined from Libya, even though their net connection was not very good. This is what Suresh writes. Dear Professor, thank you for your amazing lecture. This is Gyanika connecting to you from Libya. From your lecture, I understand that in order to become a successful entrepreneur, we need to have a very good business plan. What are your suggestions for children like me? This guy is just 14 years old. To start as an entrepreneur. Suresh Garu, I think one-to-one we'll discuss and we'll try to grow her interest to become an entrepreneur. And we have Sunila Bharati saying, sir, another problem for entrepreneurs is employee retention. What are your suggestions regarding this? I would say wonderful question, Sunila Bharati Garu, because this is one of the biggest problems that small entrepreneurs, let us take like Madam Neelima will face, that the easiest thing is called ESOP. It is called employee stock option. So you make them part of your business. So they are no longer the employees, they become part of you. So you give them a small stake, and this stake works so wonderfully well. I'll give you one example. There is this DMart company. This DMart company fellow gave 500 shares, 1,000 shares, 2,000 shares. On the day it was listed, suddenly these people became crorepati's. On the day DMart got listed in the share market, all these people became crorepati's, and if you make them part of your business, they'll be more loyal, and they will grow the business because now they have an interest. Once the business grows, they'll also become very successful, and they will also gain financially. That's a wonderful question, Sunila Garu. Vijayalakshmi garu inko question adutunnaru. Even marketing the product to customer satisfaction is also a challenge if you're an entrepreneur. Totally agree, madam. I think me and Kota and all the marketing teachers, including Chaitanya, we call the person who is making the delivery as the face of the company. If that fellow who is coming and delivering the product at my home, he doesn't behave very well, like in the Urban Clap example that I gave, my perception or the impression about Urban Clap is based on the delivery man. So if the delivery fellow does not give me good delivery, I think all impression is lost. I think that is where we can learn from people like McDonald's and KFC's and all these American companies, where each and every employee behaves as if he owns the company. So each and every employee should actually own the company. Then only it will get reflected in the company itself. I think wonderful question again. And we have another Libyan professor called Goma Ali, who says, thank you, professor. It was an amazing lecture. Thank you very much, sir. It was very nice that faculty from Libya have joined. Then we have Sarah Vasan. Very good webinar. Thank you, sir. Vijayalakshmi also saying thank you. It was a lovely session. Please share the video with us. We'll put it on our own YouTube, and it is nice. Sir Vadivel, sir, anything else? Any questions from your side?
Sir, let me tell you, sir.
Yeah.
Actually, last time we have applied for, first of all, let me thank you for very much for accepting my
Madam, you are part of the family, madam.
Yeah,
I
can interact with. Yeah, yeah.
So I
and I
continue
also
to
thank Nilma ma'am and Madhusudan Kota garu for giving your valuable suggestions. Actually, many of the engineering students, they don't know how to write the business plan.
Okay.
This we came to know last time when we have applied for MSME such projects. Idea Tab. Last time Narendra Modi has invited applications for ideas. So that time in that one column is there where the business plan for 3 years has to be written.
Okay.
So all of us wrote, all the students, and that time we could not guide as I was busy with some other works. Now I came to know how to write a business plan through this session. And very
we'll also
much
help you, madam. So
Yeah.
whenever next time,
Yeah.
we'll come down to the college and we'll actually do a workshop as how to write a business plan, and they will definitely get benefited.
Yeah, many of the students don't know how to write a business plan, but somehow we have done it actually without not much knowledge. But this time when we apply for any projects or ideas or proposals, definitely we'll take your advice.
Madam, one more question has just come in. I think Mr. Suresh Makina. Suresh, can you quickly ask the question, please? I think they want to wind up. Suresh Garu, you want to ask a question? I think the connection is lost, madam. Okay, no problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Suresh,
Hello?
Sir,
quickly, Suresh garu cheppandi. Suresh Garu from Libya, he wants to ask a question. Suresh Garu, we are able to hear, please.
Yeah, looks like the speed is a little slow.
Okay. Keep continuing, sir. We are able to listen to you.
You said we should have a very good business plan.
Yes, sir. Sir, can you try type?
Be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
The most important thing is the
Sir, I think your voice is breaking.
also heard.
Uh-huh.
breaking. So I will better type the message.
Better
Okay.
type the question, sir, and we will try to answer it. I think there's some problem with your network, so maybe network is slow. Yes.
Sir, another question from Aarti Boreddy, sir.
Aarti Gaur, I'll read it out, madam. The session was very informative and interesting. What type of accounting system we need to use when we plan for a business? I would say Aarti Reddy garu, the very honest accounting system, I would say. And then now there are a lot of ready-made packages called what is it called, Kota? That
Zoho.
automatic Zoho.
Zoho
What
is
is
there.
what is other? Tally. There are a lot of things like Tally and Zoho. So please try to be as transparent as possible, because end of the day it is only a transparency that matters. And whatever accountancy packages that you're using, try to achieve transparency and fairness in all your dealings, because this is where I would say 50% of organizations fail. 1 minute, I'll come to you, Kota. This is where 50% of the organizations fail, because they plan to fail. Instead of planning for success, they plan for failure. So right from day one, the entrepreneur says, इधर से इतना पैसा लेना है, उधर से इतना पैसा लेना है, बैंक को ऐसा cheat करना है. Let us not do that, please. Let us try to be a good entrepreneur, because India is waiting on that inflection point. The difference between India and China is only the number of entrepreneurs who are coming up every year. So if India can produce more entrepreneurs, I am promising you, within the next 20 years, we might be challenging Chinese supremacy on the GDP. I think young Indians, please wake up. Jobs are there, but I think better opportunities are there to become an honest entrepreneur, whether it is accounting, marketing, production, or whatever. Be as honest as possible. Yes, Kota, very quickly.
Yes, sir. There is just to add what you're saying, we need to be transparent in our accounting systems and all our systems, because the biggest hurdle for any entrepreneur in India is a government employee.
Yes.
Who comes to check everything, every small thing, and they will harass you. You will have a document. It's like our traffic policeman on the street. You have everything. Then suddenly we say you don't have a helmet, but you will say, "Sir, I am driving a cycle." But you are supposed to wear a helmet.
Okay.
So transparency is very important. It will save you from most of the harassments.
Thank you. And Sunila Bharti also is saying, sir, workshop is a great idea. We'll be waiting for the opportunity. Definitely, Sunila Bharti garu, we would love to come over and interact and have a one-day workshop where we'll tell you actually how to write a business plan. Vijay Shanti garu, antena. There's Balakrishna Singham. Balakrishna Singham is my colleague from Ethiopia. And he's a executive vice president in a very big electrical company, solar photovoltaic company from Chennai. So he says, thank you, Anil Garu. A very nice presentation. As usual, touch chesaru. One question I have. Can you please give your views about what makes entrepreneur to fail? Assuming he started with a good business plan. Great, Balakrishna garu. I think why a person could start with a good business plan but still might fail is there are a lot of changes happening in the environment. Like Kota was correctly saying, your business plan, whatever you made, a lot of noise coming from somebody. So your business plan that you made is not cast in iron. It should be flexible, it should be adaptable, and you should be willing to change. And one more thing, Balakrishna, what happens is many of us are very inflexible. We become rigid. We think our product is great. Nothing can beat our product. And I'll give you the best example is Rahul Bajaj went on with the product called Chetak, in spite of everybody telling him that the time for Chetak is over. In fact, one of the interviews, Rahul Bajaj is crying when Ravi Bajaj, his son, says, Papa, Chetak ka kaam ho gaya. So the thing why people fail, in spite of having a very good business plan, is we are not adaptable. We are not looking at the environment. We are not looking what the competitors are making. So a business plan is not cast in iron. You should be flexible. You should be willing to make changes, and you should be able to take unemotional, practical decision. Then you keep on revising your business plan. I am sure your business will be successful. So Satyakumar says, what is the role of Atmanirbhar Bharat in entrepreneurship? Now the government of India has come out with a lot of schemes. In fact, you'll be surprised to know there is one particular scheme where the government of India is willing to give 5 lakh rupees. Am I right, Kota? Is it 5 lakhs or gone up to 7 lakhs now?
No, I think some cases they funded till 10 lakhs also, sir.
10 lakhs only based on your certificates. So please remember, the government of India is trusting you. It is trusting your technical competence. It is trusting your engineering competence. So they are willing to give you a lot of money. And Atmanirbhar and a lot of governmental agencies are coming forward and giving loans. When I was studying, Kota, Chaitanya, or Balakrishna, Suresh, we never had these opportunities to get so much of loans. Now is the time. Make a very good business plan, and maybe within 5 years time you might be having 1,000 people working under you, and Padmaja madam will call you as an expert, and you will be talking as an expert in this EDC, and all of us will be listening to you. And I wish that all my students, all 84 of you, become successful entrepreneurs, and you will also receive awards like Neelima madam. So Suresh has got the last question. I am saying this is the last question. Professor, even though we have a very good business plan, the problem comes with funding. Yes, this is one problem, Suresh Garu. There is a lot of funding problem, but luckily now a lot of venture capitalists have come out. So if it is not Atmanirbhar, or if it is not banks, there are a lot of venture capitalists. Only problem with venture capitalists is we always joke that they're vultures. So they take up to 40. Already we see a Kota who was once a venture capitalist smiling. So venture capitalists take up to 30% or even 40%, but it's a necessary evil. So if my business plan is very good, I want 10 crore rupees, I think I should be willing to shell down 40%.
There are no free lunches, sir.
Yeah, exactly. There are no free lunch in this world, Suresh Garu. So he's giving you 10 crores because he's expecting a return. So I think we should make it into a 1,000 crore company, and then he will get 300 crores and you will get 700 crores. So funding will definitely be a problem. That's a huge challenge. And I think a business plan at least will partially solve that problem of getting finances, because if a business plan is tight and if you're able to answer the questions, most venture capitalists are very, very forward looking, and they will release the fund sometimes even in 3 days to 5 days also. So they are very dynamic people because they are very business oriented, and if your business plan has got the potential, they want to see that your business gets off the ground very fast, and if you can make a profit, they are the people who will get benefited the most. So opportunities are there, problems are there, but I think we should be able to overcome them. So my own student called Bhavna from my triple specialization at Shiva Shivan Institute of Management is asking a question. Thank you, sir, for the informative session. Sir, when we start a new business, it is difficult to abandon our another career. So how to balance that? Bhavna, let me tell you something. Take that risk, Bhavna, when you're 23. Nothing to lose. ठीक है, आप 30 years तक भी try करो, 35 years तक भी try करो. With a girl as smart as Bhavna, you can get a job at 35, Bhavna. Don't worry about jobs. Jobs तो रहेंगे. So go jump into that entrepreneurship. Don't worry about this XYZ companies that come and take you for. So if you want to become an entrepreneur, it is never too early. Jump in at 23 and I'm sure you'll be successful, and don't worry. Suppose, let's say by 10% of the cases you're not able to do well, I think you can start a career at 35. I'll give you my own example. I was in marketing from 87 to 97. After 10 years of marketing, I came to teaching and became one of the oldest faculty at the youngest position in CBIT. So I was aged around 34. All my colleagues were 23, 24. That doesn't matter. So I learned a lot about marketing. I learned a lot about advertising. And when it comes to teaching, I'm used to whatever I learned in another career. So I think don't ever have those inhibitions. If you want to become an entrepreneur, I think right now is the correct time. There is no postponing it. Okay, what about social media strategy? Kiran Kumar, I think you should have a session from Kota, who's an expert on social media. We have another expert called Chaitanya Murav, Chaitanya, two of my colleagues. We should have another session, and they will take it on from the social media strategy. I think this is only about the business plan. Amma, Vijay Shanti.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Okay.
good evening. Ramesh garu.
చెప్పండి అమ్మా.
We'll have in November 3rd week like that. We'll have a 2 days workshop exclusive.
Sure, madam. Sure, madam. I will ask both Madhusudan
Yeah.
Kota and my colleague
Different
Chaitanya.
experts we can
Yeah,
give and
sure. Say some,
exclusive
madam.
on business plan. See,
Sure,
many
sure,
of the engineers doesn't know how to write a business plan.
అబ్సల్యూట్లీ మేడం, అబ్సల్యూట్లీ. మనం ఒక మాక్ బిజినెస్ ప్లాన్ లా తయారు చేసి ఒక కాంపిటీషన్ పెడదాం మేడం. ఆ కాంపిటీషన్ అది బాగుంటుంది మేడం. యాక్చువల్లీ మీ దగ్గర ఇన్ఫాక్ట్ శ్రీనివాస్ వాస్ సేయింగ్ దట్ దేర్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ ఫండింగ్ ఏజెన్సీస్ who want to do seed capital at the college itself. So we can take the best 3 business plans and make the dream actually become a success. We can make it turn into a reality. That is possible. So we can definitely do it as a competition, madam. We are willing to help.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for a wonderful session, sir. I take the opportunity to propose a vote of thanks for today's program on business plan, a route map to success, organized by Vidyajyoti Institute of Technology. I thank our management for their continuous encouragement for conducting such type of events. I thank our well-wisher, Dr. E. Sai Baba Reddy Garu, for his support. Thank you, sir. I extend my sincere thanks to our principal ma'am, Dr. A. Padmaja Garu, for her constant support, vision, and commitment. Thank you, ma'am. And my special thanks to our special guest, Dr. M. Anil Ramesh, sir, Professor, Marketing and Strategy, Sivasivani Institute of Management, who, despite of his busy schedule, has found time to grace this occasion. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your wonderful session, sir, once again.
Thank you.
And I thank Neelima Madam for sharing her experiences with us. What, how, and why. These are very simple words, ma'am, but practically to implement this we need to justify ourselves for these words. Thank you, ma'am. And I thank Madhusudan Kota, sir, for a business plan is a Google map. Come back and track it. Really, in our daily life also, wherever we go, we need to come back and we have to, we should see where we are, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And I thank all the distinguished invitees who are present here and accepting our invitation. Thank you very much. I thank the EDC coordinator, Dr. Vadivelu sir, and all the department coordinators for making this event success. Last but not the least, all the students and participants for making this event a memorable success. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, Padmaja garu. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. Please do share the video because I would like we'll put it up on the YouTube. Thank you, Padmaja garu.
Still some chat box questions.
Yeah, I think 2 professors from Libya have said thank you. Azizia Hanzar and Goma Ali. These are the professors who joined in from Libya. So we had people coming in from Libya, and then from there was one of my colleagues, I think, who joined in from US, in fact Guyana, from West Indies. So then we had the people coming in from Ethiopia. Thank you, madam. I think he's just now came in. Sham Sundar. Sham Bhavanara. So Sham Sundar joined from Guyana. So
Good evening, sir.
Good evening,
sir.
In fact, it is early morning for you. Early morning.
No, it's 8 o'clock, sir. 8:30, sir, now. No problem.
So,
sir. I joined at 7:30 only.
Good. So very nice that you.
After a long time we are discussing.
So he joined from West Indies. So lot of people from other countries have joined, madam. I think.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you. So
It's
that
a
is
nice
very
presentation, sir.
Thank
Sir,
you very
it was
much.
a nice presentation.
Okay.
I no adaptability, no business, sir. No success.
Good.
I like that your word. Just now you remark the presentation. No
Yeah.
adaptability, no business.
Correct. You
It's
need
really
to
nice,
adapt.
sir.
Correct,
The
thank
example is Rahul Bajaj.
Rahul Bajaj. Yeah. Yes. You need to adapt to the
I
situation.
am feeling very situations. I
Yeah,
accept it, sir.
Shyam.
Very nice.
Thank you, Sham. Thank you, Sham.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Thank you, other my colleagues and friends also, sir.
Thank
Ramesh and Kota, sir. Chaitanya.
Chaitanya is also there. Yes.
Chaitanya is there.
Jayalakshmi.
Yeah, he's called me every time Professor.
Jayalakshmi madam is
M.
also there.
Chaitanya. Oh, nice.
There's a lot of people from.
Good evening,
Shivaswami.
ma'am. Just Jayalakshmi. Nice, sir.
Thank you, Andy. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, madam.
Good night,
Right.
sir. Good night.
Right.